Hello, everyone. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are. Hello, Milanistas all around the world and tuning in. Thank you so much for joining us here today. It's myself, Husni from Kuala Lumpur, and with me, as ever, the best co-host anyone could ever have, and
Thank
a
you.
true
Being too
Milanisti
kind.
based in Nairobi, Kenya, enjoying some fine weather there. Do we have a show for you tonight, this evening, guys? So I know we're a bit early. There'll be a game later on with Spezia, but we do have two games actually to speak about. One up and one down, down, down. And when I say down, 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 it can't get any lower than the emotions that we experienced a few days ago. But first, we'll begin on a lighter note, and that actually has to do with Lazio. But before we get to that, I mean, Shane, what's going through your mind right now, and how have you been?
So I'll give everyone fair warning that's watching this. If you have a child in the room, please mute because I'm about to swear a lot because I'm very angry. So anyway, I've given you a fair warning. So if you don't mute and there's a child in the room, that's on you. But honestly, dude, it's
Okay. We'll begin with the light stuff first. So let's talk about Lazio. So
mm,
just to recap for those who didn't manage to catch the game or wanted to know our views on it. So we'll begin a bit with a summary. So yeah, 2-0 win. Liao got came off early with an injury and of course didn't feature in the second game that we're going to speak about. But yeah, looking at it, convincing win. Lazio didn't have much in the tank. However, they did try quite a bit, and I thought we dominated them in the way that it felt a lot like the emotions of the game that we experienced against Juve the first time, remember last year. So that was convincing. And yeah, couldn't get any better than that. 2-0, convincing win. Didn't look like they were about to equalize or even to come back to the game. But yeah, do you agree? I mean, Shane, what do you think about the game and how good were we?
I think yeah, so there's two things with the Lazio game. So they have Sarri as a manager. So they're kind of like a poor man's Napoli essentially. So what they are is they're very attacking squads. They don't have the technical ability to keep up Sarri ball. I think we kind of exploited that really well. The Teo goal was just amazing, though, wasn't it?
Coast to coast. I
I
mean,
mean,
yeah, it's
again,
almost
yeah.
shot by shot the exact same goal that he scored against Atlanta. That goal that I don't know, was it goal of the season? Was it nominated for goal of the season last season? I'm sure
I
it's one
don't know,
of the
but
nominees,
if it
but
wasn't goal of the season, it should have been
yeah,
because
this one might
it
be
was
goal of the season.
amazing.
I can't remember a better goal
Yeah,
than this one.
that's it.
Think
That's it.
about it because he got the I know he got the pass from Mike outside the box, but he was in the box. He was already running from inside our box, and again running all the way to the other side. It would have been sweet if he actually ran into their box and scored. But yeah, taking a goal. And thanks
Yeah,
Romagnoli for the assist.
I know. I know. It was, yeah, like I felt weirdly confident about it. And I think what it was, based on our performances against Napoli,
Yeah,
because Napoli are kind of like Lazio, but they have an awful lot more technical talent. And I was like, well, look, if we can shut Napoli down, we can do it against Lazio because we seem to be doing like we do really well. It's this strange kind of dichotomy, right, that we have where if so what we can play well against is if a team is technically okay or technically good and they're attacking, we can absorb it. Let's talk about the inter game later. That's a bit different. But for the most part, we can absorb it and we can act professionally and we can counter really well. Leao is a big part of that, right? But yeah, I had a great feeling against Lazio, and I thought we were going to do it, and obviously we did, convincingly as well. I think we put them to bed. Um, but yeah, it's man. So like outside of the Theo goal, right? What was your like momentous? What was your I guess best moment of the game outside of the Theo goal?
oh, I don't think anything can really overshadow Theo's goal. But if I had to pick out, not to say a moment, but in terms of the performances, I thought Soundmakers was on a different level, really. Yeah.
That's why I
Don't you
asked.
think?
That is why I asked. Yeah, because honestly, dude, we live in a day and age where, well, it's probably my most the player that I didn't really understand or like. He's actually relatively consistently starting to show up.
On the left wing, surprisingly, I know that he doesn't get many opportunities on the left wing. I mean, the last time I see him play on the left wing, quite that a bit, and really that impressively, it was actually against. You remember that team, Rio Ave or something like that, the one that we played on the Europa League. I think he
Back
started
in
on the left wing,
Jesus,
and he
you're
scored a
mentioning
goal.
Rio Ave, Hosni. Oh my God,
I'm
was
going
that?
back in time on that one.
Remember, we're in the Europa League. Oh, That's brought back more PS or PTSD. This is
We
awful.
might be back in the Europa League, so you got to relive those performances again.
I can't. I can't like.
Watching games on a Thursday. You know when you watch a game on a Thursday, the signs aren't good.
I can't. I can't. I can't. We've become like it's. You know who I feel sorry for is Man United fans
Yeah.
because honestly, I'm not a fan, but like big history, big club, right, heavily supported club, and it's kind of the epitome of their season is finishing up runner up in the Europa League, and I kind of going, Jesus Christ, like you know,
No, but the thing about the Europa League is that you don't want to be in it, but once you reach the quarters or the semifinals,
mm.
you got to try and win it. Though. It's
Oh,
not
you
like
have to
yeah, it's not like
because
a
you can
Copa
get to the
whereby
big boys league. Yeah, you can get to the big boys league to
exactly.
get out of the fucking tournament that you don't want to be in the first place because it's a waste of time. I agree totally, Hosni. Yeah.
It's not like the Copa whereby if you for some reason wash out and like the first round like what we did, it becomes a
Mm.
bit forgettable. Yeah, it's like
Oh,
we
but the
want to be
Copa is
there.
always forgettable.
Yeah,
The Copa, because the Copa is a complete waste of time. And I'm not saying this is a Milan fan. It's the same in the English league with the FA Cup.
yeah.
Bad teams win it. Bad teams can win it.
But they have two
That's
cups,
why it's.
two domestic cups other than the title, right? They got like the League Cup.
Mm,
There's like the first half
mm,
of the season, and then they got like the FA Cup
mm,
for the second half of the season. But yeah, once you get into the later stages, you want to try your best to win it. But I don't
mm,
know, and I know that we only have about two games to recap, and maybe we speak a little bit about the game later. But what can you say about our consistency here? Yeah. So looking at the
there is
run that
none.
we've had, yeah, we drew against Roma, we drew against Cremonese, we won against
Mm,
Lazio. I mean, would you have accepted that we drew against Lazio? I mean, let's talk about the same results, but in another order. Would you have accepted we beat Roma, we drew against Lazio? Okay, you can't say that we won against Cremonese because we didn't at all. We should have.
mm,
And that similar lineup is starting tonight. So what can you
mm,
say about our consistency? And the reason why I bring up consistency is that we don't have many games left. We're down to like the last 5 games, and that includes the one against Inter, the return leg. So what what can you say about this team, and what trajectory are you thinking about when you see the performance against Inter, when you see how we perform against Lazio? Because 1 point and it's over. Yeah, the way that I see it, 1 point, we're done.
mm.
1 point or less, we're done.
I mean, so my biggest fear is, and I can see this happening. So my biggest fear is that we finish fifth, and let's say we're 8 points behind Juventus, right? And let's say Juventus get their 9 point deduction, so we finish fourth. My biggest fear about this is not only have we shown that we don't have the qualities to finish in a Champions League spot, we also have a chairman or a fucking CEO or whatever he calls himself of a club who's already shown that he doesn't want to spend money. So
You're referring
even
to
if
Cardinale, the Jerry.
Card- Cardinale, yeah, yeah, the guy that doesn't exist pretty much. But
Okay.
my big fear about that is that so let's just say something happens. Let's say we finish fifth, right? And so let's say we're 8 points behind Juve, and let's say come August or come July, right? Juve get 9 points taken off them. So we finish fourth, right? You know what's going to happen? Because Cardinale is basically going to say, oh, well, I budgeted for, a season in the Europa League. So, screw getting a backup to Benacer, who's basically, sorry guys, just in case you don't know, Benacer is probably out till at least October. So he's gone. So, I mean, we're not going to get back up for him. Might get a striker. I mean, the right wing, like, these are really scary times.
Okay,
Like,
on that point, Shane, I just want to jump in because our midfield, we do have options in the midfield, and Benacer has been played as a slightly advanced uh, midfielder. I wouldn't call him a cam,
mm,
by the way. I think his role is that he doesn't do what I would expect of, a Kaka type player.
he's kind of weird. He's
Yeah.
kind of box to box. Do
Yeah.
you feel that? And I never expected that from Benacer, but he's functional as a box to box player, which is amazing.
So I feel that even with Benacer, even though the formation reads 4-2-3-1, it does feel like a 4-3-3. This is my opinion. And I am looking at the opportunities because there are other players, and we do have other midfielders in the roster. And Mr. ADLI, could this be his opportunity? I mean, looking at the expect lineup for tonight, looks like no, and I'm not surprised at all. But if Benacer truly is out for a few more months, because you think about it, yeah. So if he's out until October, they're not gonna rush him back. He's probably gonna like take some time to appear on as a sub. Could this actually be the start of where we start to see Yasin Adli? Because that's really his role, right? He's not really a cam in that sense. To me, is that I see Adli as almost like a direct uh, one-to-one replacement for Benacer. Other than the fact that they're actually from the same country and they play for the same national team. The style of play on the limited times that I've seen Adli, I think he can do Benacer's job.
That's a fair point, and I never thought about that because if you've seen kind of, yeah, you're right, especially in the Napoli games, because Benacer was kind of pushing forward a bit more, which surprised me quite a lot. Showed great technical aptitude, which we know that Adley has from the brief glimpses that we've seen. So, I mean, look, it's a toss up of between him or the $35 million man, which essentially is why I can't shave. Yeah. So
I think
myself and
you'll be in
Hosni.
running after a while. You'll be in the running for like a Guinness Book of Records for the longest beard or something.
No, I have to trim it because if I don't, I look homeless. But the thing is as anyone can see in this probably will tell you, I look like shite with a beard, right? And I want to shave. So I mistakenly made the stupid comment uh, after when was it back in March? Oh, I won't shave until CD scores a goal, and yeah, like is improper. Like I just so the problem is I don't think Adley is going to get the game time ahead of CDK just based on the price tag.
Yep, yep. But there is a
You
role
know,
for Adley. I mean, I don't doubt that Adley is not a cam as well. So I
mm,
don't think he is to say that just because CDK is around that Adley can't be on the same on the pitch at the same time as him.
mm.
Because again, we play with a double pivot. There are two positions there. Tonali can't play every game, and what we saw in the previous. Okay, we'll speak about.
Tonali can't play any game. I mean, looking at like this is a harsh thing to say, but I mean, I can understand why because essentially it's kind of like let's say you buy a car, right, and you can spend let's say I don't know you win the lotto, and you buy a Lamborghini, right, and you take the Lamborghini out every day for 3 years, right? And you don't take it to the mechanic because fuck it, it's working. Yeah, but it's working, but it's
Or because
it's
you won a
getting
lotto, you can't afford to pay the, the mechanic
right.
to take care of it.
That's it. That's it. So you're basically driving the Lamborghini into the ground just by you know what I mean. So yeah, dude, I like it's not a critique on Tonali. I think if we were at a stage where we had quality depth in the center of midfield, I think we'll be seeing a lot better from Tonali, but unfortunately we don't. And unfortunately, and this is a crap thing to say, but I'm going to say it. So I think the fact that he's a boyhood Milanista is just going to be playing into the likes of, Cardinale's hands, Pioli's hands, because he wants to show up and he wants to play for the club. But the problem is it's are you physically able to play every game for the club? And we're seeing the results right now, and we're seeing the results that he isn't. He's not able to play every game for the club because he's human. But so who do you throw in? Do you throw in Pobega, who I'm not convinced by Pobega. I'm sorry. I know he's gotten a couple of goals. Right, that's it. That's it. He doesn't. There's nothing that shows me about Pobega that he's quality. I'm sorry.
Okay.
The only way that Pobega could be a great asset for us is if we dump him off to Torino for like 20 million and actually buy a decent player.
Yeah. Well, since yeah, because of what you said, I mean, let's talk about the recent Inter game. I mean, just on the
Oh
Tonali
no.
point, yeah.
Oh
And
no.
I know it was a disaster. Yeah, it's a disaster because that was actually our golden chance. And if you ask me, that is probably our best
Mm.
chance in many years to come because we're playing a local team, a domestic team that we okay, maybe not a recent history of beating, but our capability should be able to beat them. I mean, if you
It's our capabilities should not be losing 2 goals in the manner that we did. Not recent capabilities and
because
getting outplayed for the first half.
yeah,
Right.
because if you ask me, is that on the other side of the draw, those teams were actually, the spending power, how they were trained is that those teams were built to win the Champions League. So for us, we're
Yeah.
playing teams that are looking to go far, but whether they will win it, I don't think they ever had that on the radar. So
No.
that was our golden ticket, which we took a shit on. But with regards to the performances, and since you mentioned about Tonali, I know it's you can critique how they played and how disappointing they were that led to the goals. Out of the team, and I'm trying to be a bit positive here. Which of those players? I know that everyone played poorly, but which of those players would you say have and still have had and still have credit in the bank to really like forgive them? There's some performances that I think are unforgivable, and let's speak about Tonali first. Yeah, if you ask me, I think he's got enough credit in the bank to say that okay, fine, you played poorly. I'm not going to write you off. But there's one guy I'm absolutely done with, and that is Calabria. I mean, Calabria. I know you're captain. I know you for academy. The last amazing performance I can remember from you was actually against Atlanta, where you scored the goal, and that was at the beginning of last season.
He did well against Napoli as well, but the problem is
No,
what
I
people
I
what people
disagree.
don't talk about though in the Napoli game is the only reason he did well against Napoli was because he was getting shielded by Krunic.
Yeah, yeah.
That
Actually,
was it.
there
So
were two players on Kvicha. So
that's it.
I didn't think he was doing that well. I mean, what Kvicha did was that as soon as he saw Calabria, he actually started cutting in, and that's because Osimhen's not there, so he's not looking for a cross. He's actually looking to do something himself.
True.
So I wouldn't credit Calabria for that result because we went through. But
Mm.
what I see from him is that he's not
Can I
okay. Go ahead.
can I please just say this about Calabria? So we have a captain.
Yeah.
So I would like to think one of the hallmarks of a leader is that while you can't make the right decision all the time, you try your best not to make stupid decisions, right? So a stupid decision to me would be I will not mark Jeko for a corner because I know he has a foot on me, let alone for the header, right? But for the fact that you have a 37-year-old Jeko who's able to like basically score a goal on you like some sort of weird like what is Jeko Bosnian?
Yeah, he is. He is. Yes.
He's like a Bosnian ballerina dancing around or like wrapping a leg around Calabria. I mean, if you have these decision making capabilities, right, what you should be doing is one, you shouldn't be captain of Milan. What you should be doing is you should be pushing trolleys around to the local supermarket because your IQ is you're wrecked, man.
Or
I
helping
mean,
out the Milan store. How
like
about that?
yeah, like and that's no offense, obviously, people that work in the Milan store, but Jesus Christ, when your captain makes that decision and your captain is responsible for actually letting that first goal in, I mean, Like, are we still talking about this thing that we do that, like, oh, the person with the most amount of appearances should be the captain? Because
Yeah.
we have Moynihan in goal.
No, I mean in
We
terms
have
of the
Moynihan
candidates
in goal.
for captain, is that okay? During that game, I don't think you could have even picked up an alternate captain because no one did that well. I mean, if you have to give someone the captain by example, you
No,
might have actually
Moynihan.
went to salad.
No, no. Honestly, not based on that game, but in terms of actually stuff that leaders do and commanding players on the pitch. I don't know why we're stressing about this. Moynihan should be captain.
Yeah.
Moynihan should be captain. There's no one else that's fit and suited to be captain of this team. There's not. Like, and
Okay.
it's not Calabria. I can tell you that.
Yeah. Well, we have also Paul KB on the chat, and yeah, thanks Paul for tuning in.
Paul,
Yeah.
you're supposed to join us on here, man. What's
Yeah.
going on?
Yeah, you
I
should.
extended the invite. You know where we're at.
So Paul, what Paul says is that yeah, I agree with. Okay, it's me. Calabria was good against Napoli, yes, but no one wants to talk about how many times Kavicha cooked him, and not to mention the fact that he's not even captain material. So yeah, Paul does agree with this.
Yeah, 100%, man. You're 100% correct. And Paul, thank you for reminding me. I actually have to actually keep a track on comments because I always fucking forget. But no, you're so fucking right, dude. It's like, look, you know, like there's players of far better quality and far better leadership material at this club, right? And it's like we're dependent on Calabria, and it's like Calabria to me, right? It's like I'm okay, Hosni, right? What height are you? Like height,
I'm actually Diaz's side, so I, I don't know. Does that
right?
put me in contention for right wing?
Right. So I'm 5'10", right?
Okay.
So I'm short, right? Now Calabria, right? There is nothing about him as a person that I would choose. There's no leadership skills,
He's
right?
got the
There's
passport.
nothing.
This is the problem. He's got the passport. He's got the I don't know what the academy ID or something like that. Maybe he flashes that around.
It's fucking like, but you know what I mean. I mean, because the thing is he's one of the hangers on from the banter era. As
Yeah, yeah.
much as people don't want to admit it, is it like people don't want to admit this? He's definitely a hanger on, and every fucking time I see him play, every time I see him play, with the exception of the Napoli games where he was basically helped by Krunic, right? Every fucking game I see him play, it's like he gives me PTSD because it's just like watching fucking Abate back in the banter era. He's useless. He's too slow, right? And and people throw this thing about, oh, that's my captain when he goes up and he scores a goal every now and then, right? Fuck, right? The same people that are talking about him scoring a goal every now and then, right? When fucking Origi scores a goal every now and then, who's also a shy player that we used to get rid of, right? They're going, oh, he doesn't score enough. Does Calabria score enough? Does
No,
Calabria show enough fucking technical skills or ability to be captain of this team?
no, but think about it as a right back. His job is not to score goals, yeah. But the thing is that he can't even
No,
defend.
no, it's not. His primary job is to make sure, right, that the team is playing well,
Yeah.
right? And he doesn't do that. Because if he did that, we would not be two fucking goals behind fucking Inter in the Champions League semi final. There is no chance. If we somehow, right, if Jesus Christ himself comes down to the world, right, and actually somehow performs a miracle, right, right, and says, yeah, listen, and we beat fucking Inter 3-0, right? Like we are fucked, right? We have no possibility of outscoring Inter Milan. We don't because they have everything we don't, right? They have overpaid players, right? No, but they have quality depth, right? And the physicality that they showed. This wasn't a game about they outplayed us technically. They basically beat us around the pitch, and that's why I'm so fucking embarrassed. And the likes of Tonali that's calling himself a fucking boyhood Milanista, right? And he's going out there and he's playing like a fucking child. Come on, like
Okay. I mean, let's try to look into some solutions that maybe you can think of. I mean, how can you fix this? Because what you've spoken about, those,
investment, investment, investment,
yeah, but we
investments
got to
in
speak about the
players that
last
can take
five
off.
games, right? We got to do something about this last
Hmm.
five. We can still make it. It's not to say that it's gone. I mean, okay, if you go based on sentiment, we're probably done, but we can still do this. What actually would you think should be done in the next few games to try to maybe give us a fighting chance? I mean, we can't do anything to give us a certainty that we would go to the final or even make top four. But what are some of the quick fixes that you think can be done?
There's no, well, I'll tell you one thing. There's no point in having Giroud on that pitch.
Okay.
There was no point. There was no point. And as bad as it sounds, I'd probably put Origi in his place because at least Origi has some bit of legs to actually try and hold up the ball. Won't score, doesn't have the cutting edge that Giroud has or had, right? But that's one change I'd make, right? Second change I'd make as well is fucking inventing a time machine, right? Going back to January and actually buying this fucking quality depth. Like, it, dude, honestly, I'm sorry. Like, I try not to be negative, and this is really hard for people that don't understand this, right? This is actually quite difficult because the thing is, we've just been destroyed. We are the laughing stocks of Europe, right? Right now, because you said it before the podcast, Hosni. Imagine you're a kid and you're looking for a football team to support, right? And you hone in on Italy, right? So you hone in on Italy and you go, oh wow, there's a AC Inter derby in the semi-final of the Champions League. I'm going to watch it. Are you going to support Milan after this performance?
Well, I hope that
No.
kid watches the highlights of last season. Then maybe he might.
He can fucking watch highlights of last season. He can watch highlights of 10 seasons ago. He can be a Man United fan, or he can be a Chelsea fan. He can live in the past. But the problem is we're trying to build what we have right now. And when you look at like, it, dude, and everyone knows the quality is a problem. But here's the thing, right? When people are saying Pioli out, right? I hope they remember, other than a CDK gamble that cost us 35 million, right? Pioli hasn't been given players. He has not been given players. He's been given Adley. He's been given Franks. He's been given Chow, right? Chow, thankfully, looks like he's working out. The other ones he's been given is who else has he been given? Fucking
Omega.
Vasquez is a goalkeeper. Fucking Pobega. Like, do you know what I mean? And he's supposed to defend the Serie A title.
No,
Now, I'm not
okay,
dismissing the fact that we finished so far behind, and that is a problem, right? But seriously, like Pioli hasn't been back for the success that he's brought to the club.
okay. Let me take it the other side, yeah, because I mean, in our whoever's tuning in, actually, we have a WhatsApp group, yeah, with the other channel, Milan Weekly
We
podcast.
do.
Do you subscribe to them and do tune in? Great channel.
Mhm.
I am
Milan
not,
Weekly Podcast. Sorry, that's
yeah,
the one. Have to
MWP,
mention it.
yeah.
Yeah, that's
So,
it. Also, I'm not advertising, but free advertising White Cap beer. If you're ever in Kenya,
sponsor us, please.
if you're watching, that's it. Sponsors. Hashtag no spawn. Not yet. Anyway, go on.
Yeah, so I know the position people saying that because yeah, it's actually not enough depth, but those players that we signed, and we talk about Adley, we spoke about Tiao, we speak about Vranks, Pobega, uh, Origi. Those players actually came to the squad with a certain potential, if not a certain number of performances, which were actually not too bad.
Or- Origi came as a cripple from Liverpool.
So yeah, Origi came injured, but if you look at his resume and the things that he's done and the experience set that he has
No, no,
before he
Husney, you can't be like the things he's done is he's showed up about one in every 20 games. He's
no,
like
but this is
Diaz.
the same thing like Giroud, right? I don't need Giroud to score a hat trick every game. I just need him to score one goal that wins us the game. That's it.
Yeah, but that's not even fucking happening now.
I know it's
Do
not
you know what I
happening,
mean?
but
It's yeah.
gambles were made. And the same thing like with CDK, right? I mean, before he came, everyone was hyped up. Even for me, if you
I
look
was
at
hyped
his
up.
highlights, you look at his experience set, essentially like you look at someone's CV before they start working at their company, and you realize that it just doesn't fit. My
Hmm.
problem with Pioli is that his job is to get these players ready. Based on what the players that we signed, they all have potential. I mean, I think any team would be happy to have CDK in the squad, would be like happy to have Adley in the squad. Why
true,
aren't we getting
but
these players ready?
the thing is though is it's Pioli's primary job to get 3 points.
True,
That's
but
it.
what is he
Mm.
trying? Because you've seen it. We look at our run of games. We look at the consistency factor here. There is no consistency. We some as Gattuso said, yeah. Sometimes maybe good,
We
sometimes
are
maybe shit.
bipolar. We
But
are, and I don't mean this in an offensive way to anyone who's suffering from the condition, but we are essentially bipolar. We are kind of we go through these intense highs, and then we have these crippling lows. Sometimes in the phase of a month. I mean, wasn't he like you think about it? The points that we've dropped against, sorry, the teams that we dropped these points against. There's a crippling lack of professionalism. There's
yeah,
no leader of the team, right? We have a leader of the team that's standing in goal, who's a captain, who's a leader of men, right? And instead, we give it to a 5 foot, you know, three,
we'll give it to the
guy
fanboy.
called Glenn. We give it to the fanboy because he's been there longest and he's been there during the banter years. Well, fuck it. Abate was during the banter years, right? And he gave me some of the worst PSD that I've ever like. you know, like this is like we're at a turning point now, and this season will tell a fucking lot, right? Not just in terms of right what project are we actually trying to build here, right? But it'll also tell a lot in terms of look, it's great. By the way, for anyone who doesn't know, we've locked down Lao, which is great, right?
Not official,
So
but
that's
yeah, it
well,
seems
not official,
the rumors seems to
not
be right.
official,
Yeah.
but the rumors are there, right? So I mean, like, what better player that you can base your team around, right? But Jesus, he can't be complimented by a Giroud that's 35 years old.
No,
That's,
Giroud is 37, I think. Yeah. Oh, he already
30, Christ, worse.
let me check that.
You're actually right, yeah. So he's 37. And now our answer to this is,
Yeah, he's turning
by
37.
all accounts, is a fucking Arnautovic from Bologna.
Yeah.
No, is it Bologna? Yeah.
A former Interisti, if you
As
for
you
those who know.
said,
Yeah.
as you said, and you say this quite often, Hosni, and it's times like this.
Or is it my internet? Are you there? Can you hear?
I can hear you. Can you
Okay.
hear me?
Sorry, I think the internet just bleeped out. Anyway,
Oh, okay.
yeah. As I was saying, so we won the league last season. So was
Ahead
it a
of
case
time.
of yeah? Was it a case that because we won it, you could say contrary to many expectations, were they willing to take a bigger gamble because they knew to sustain it, you just couldn't afford to sustain winning the league. So it was a calculated risk, a decision that was taken. We probably
No,
know we can't win it back to back, so let's just try and
no,
get top four. And my issue
no.
is
You're
that when you
no.
target to get top four, you you might fall into the Europa League. I mean, this is the problem that I have. We
Mm,
didn't target to retain the Scudetto because if you target to win the Scudetto again, then the second, the option, the fallback option means that you are still top four. We did not have the ambition to win the Scudetto, and this is a big problem that I have. I know the
well,
ownership. I mean, yeah, Redbird.
we don't have the talent to win the Scudetto. That's the problem. So
We
when you
won
look
it.
at it,
What gets me is that we won it. Okay,
mm,
Inter they they had a good run of games as well, and they were
mm.
almost neck and neck with us.
I mean, Milan's like the player of the season yet last year for Milan was Radu.
Yeah.
I mean, because he won us the champions, or sorry, he won us the Serie A last year. Let us not forget that. No, but sorry, I'm being a bit negative. No, but like yeah, like I don't know, man. It's not that we've prioritized the wrong thing. It's just that even so, your domestic is your domestic, right? But like, look at the Inter game,
Yeah.
right? So look at the Inter game. So Inter, Christ, this is what PTSD does to you. I can't even remember. I know they substituted people, but I think they took off. Was it Martinez and put on Lukaku,
Yes.
right?
Yes. Yeah.
And we substituted Benacer and put on Povega. there is levels. Do you know what I mean? Like, and I'm not saying that Inter have everything correct. They don't, because they're going to sell probably most of their biggest players. Well, the only thing keeping the lights on at Inter is essentially it's the Champions League, because they're broke as fuck, and I love that. But at the end of the day, it's, yeah, it, as you said, Forza balance sheets. It doesn't help the situation that we're in. You know, I know we're taking a different path, but Jesus Christ, like, the problem is it's not the manner. It's, if we lost 2-0 in the semi final, right?
Mm.
And if we lost and we went out and it was like, you know, we played well, right? And we played well and we lost 2-0, no one would care. The problem is we we made Inter look like prime Barcelona. We made Dzeko look like prime Ronaldinho. Like, you don't like Dzeko's. We're taking the piss out of Giroud, right? Being 37. Dzeko is the same age, I believe. He's
Maybe he's
37 years
older.
of
I think
age.
he's older. Let me check that.
Yeah. So, like, I think he's 37 years of age, and the amount of space that we give him.
Hey, 37. Yeah. Sorry, he's born the
37
same year
years
as
of
Giroud
age.
and me, coincidentally. So,
There you
but just
go.
like only a difference of a few months.
That's it. So, I mean, like, what the hell are we doing essentially? You know, it's it wasn't. It's and as much as I say it, right, it's not the lack of depth that actually killed us in this game. It's just the unprofessionalism of the players, which hurts more. Because in the semi final, right, when you don't have the likes of Tonali or, and I'll say it, Krunic, right, when you don't have them tracking back, right, these things happen, right? So it's like we deserved everyone we got on Wednesday. I mean, the only thing, it's like trying to be, how'd you be positive about a shit show of a result like that? It's like, well, oh, we could have lost 5-0. That's the only positivity we can take from that result, you know?
Okay, let me say
But it's
something.
not a fair reflection on the squad.
Let me say this, and I don't know whether you agree or not. Yeah, and I just thought it just came to my mind. Do you think
Mm,
because we are champions, defending champions of Italy, that there is no longer any ambition behind the team? Well, it seems that the team, and I said we said this last week.
no.
Yeah, so it looks like the team has outgrown Zlatan. So now what? What's next? They've
Mm,
always been told that okay, we didn't expect to be in the semifinals, and now that we are, yeah, it's great, 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 and all that. Everyone's happy. But then what? They're not looking to. They can't win the Scudetto anymore. Yeah, that's gone. It looked like we actually gave up back in December. In the Champions League,
mm,
what is our ambition there? Because if they see that, okay, if the ambition that was trickling down from the ownership, that as long as we made it out of the group, then that's already like great. That's progress. So
mm.
look at it from the eyes of the team. I mean, job's done, right? What do they need to win other than Inter? I mean, what do they need to win?
But the thing is this is where it comes back to the professionalism, right? Because the
Mm.
professionalism is what should kind of keep you in and kind of say, you should always try and, do your best at what you're doing, right? I mean, look, this is for some of the younger fans that are watching. You might know these players. If you don't, I suggest you research them on YouTube because they're amazing.
Open up the
But
textbooks.
the
Yeah.
likes, yeah, bring out the textbooks. But the likes of Baresi and Maldini, right? So Maldini said a couple of times, whereas like he go onto the training pitch against Baresi, and every training session was like a game, and he get hurt so bad. Do you know what I mean? It was because Baresi took it seriously. That's a professional. What a professional isn't is not tracking back, allowing a 37-year-old Jekko, like I've said, to have acres of space and look like prime Ronaldinho to attack you in the semi-finals of a Champions League.
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with you, but I mean, if I was Tonali, I would say that. Yeah, we still. What did you expect? You didn't expect us to be in the semifinals in the first place, so
No, 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 no. They can't use that excuse, man. Like Tonali, least of all. Tonali can't use that excuse. If you're the
yeah.
sport
But
of a club, if you
honestly,
can't.
yeah, it wasn't just about Tonali. I mean, there's two
No,
things
it
that
wasn't.
that I
It
say about
wasn't.
games is that okay. One is that if it's a 0-0,
Yeah.
then you could blame the attacking, saying that okay, why can't we score? But
Mm.
then if it's 2-0, think about it, yeah, why couldn't we defend? So to me, it's not just about Tonali. There were like four guys within Tonali, and I don't know why we can't seem to read the simple passes. I mean, us watching from the camera, maybe it's unfair that we get to see it from a good angle that we see everyone on the pitch, and for them,
Mm.
no matter how many years of experience that they have, they don't know where everyone else is. These passes are so predictable to these players that all I can do is laugh. And that
Well, you
goal,
see,
I mean, that cross. Why are we conceding goals from crosses?
like,
Again,
and Martinez doing this spin.
yeah.
It's like it's something that happens when you're about 12 years old on a football, like, on a football pitch. And you learn from it and you go, oh, Jesus, I'm going to tackle him or I'm going to, push him off the ball or something. And it's happened, it happened in the Super Cup, and it's happened again like, we're making Martinez look like a great player. Like, this is.
Yeah, because for me is that
Mm,
and I'm thinking about this a lot. Yeah, so for those who watch the Premier
mm.
League, I'm sure Paul, since you're based in the UK, you probably watch Premier League sometimes. We
He's
gamble,
not
yeah.
brainwashed with that stuff, though,
So we
are you, Paul?
gambled. We traded
Yeah.
CDK, the funds that we had available for CDK that should initially have went to for Botman, and
Mm,
Newcastle picked up Botman. I think for an
mm.
amount that we could have afforded. I know it would have been a stretch, but we could have
Yep.
actually found a way to have bought Botman. But we made that gamble. I,
Yep.
I think I think it didn't pay off. Yeah. So maybe with CDK, the
No, it's
thought
a
was
bit
that
of.
okay, Tomori Kalulu partnership, yeah, that will continue into that will be like the next. I don't know what Maldini Baresi, but it didn't work out that way. And now our attack has an issue. We still again a left-sided team. So this gamble that we undertook, we seeing the results. Yeah. So we can't seem to defend. We're letting in crap goals. People don't know like they seem like they didn't do anything for the whole week in training.
Simon
Oh,
Kier isn't the answer.
yeah,
I
and
mean,
by the way, I
yeah.
defended Kia. I would have thought that with Kia in
So did I.
the back line, it would have added.
Mm.
He would have been the leader. He would have got everyone into position. But I don't know. Maybe you need to give him the captain's armband. Maybe they're not listening to him because Calabria is telling them something else.
I just, I think, Osni, for the stage that we're in, and I think we've all accepted it now that we're not really going to get great investment unless we sell someone.
Mhm.
Tamori has to go.
Too many mistakes this
For
season.
if
Yeah,
too many mistakes, I think
silly mistakes. Let me
now.
let me let me add a detail.
Yeah, like, so I think if we can look, because of that, that weird tax that's added on if you have, the potential of getting an English passport, or if you have an English passport. So, I mean, he's going to get a tax added onto his sale, right? Sorry, not a tax, but he's going to get an amount added onto, his transfer price. I think he has to go. I like, I'm just not seeing it. I'm not seeing the quality there.
Yeah, well, I agree with you. I mean, I'm not just not just about tomorrow. I think anyone in the squad, everyone has a price tag that that we should be at least think about.
Mm,
I don't want to think anyone's unsellable. If the right amount of money comes in, then why not? I mean, we even with Benacer's renewal, the
mm.
management thinks that 50 million. I mean, because they agreed to it. Yeah, I mean, they signed the renewal on that
It's
basis.
not enough. It's
They
not
think
enough.
50
Yeah.
million is an okay amount for Benacer. I mean, someone comes in and pays 50 million next season, then yeah, take him.
I
But
mean, there's some players that are, there's some players that it's like, look, you have an argument for valuation versus what they put in the field. It's like, look, Cosney, we both know, Krunic is a $200 million player.
I don't know what currency you're talking about. Maybe Indonesian rupiah there.
That's it, something like that. No, but yeah, dude, it's a bit low. Hopefully, though, that sets the excuse me, that sets the stage for us being a club that can actually value their players properly. I mean, they've started it with layout. Hopefully, if the if what they're saying is true, so that's what is it, 170 million.
Yeah.
That's good. Whack Moynihan on 120 million because the guy is a diamond. Um, Krunic 300 million. Uh, but, but hopefully it sets a standard of, well, this is how we value our players. So if you want to price them off us, then you're going to have to pay up.
No, but
Uh,
to hit those
mm,
numbers and really to be able to sell your players, they have to be marketable. The issue that I have with Tomori is that yeah, you can tell him that yeah, English tax I want 100 million, but then
mm.
the club that's buying him plays the highlights of him against Chelsea, against some of the other games where he's been clowned out. I mean, can you realistically think that we will get that amount of money? I mean, he's got to be at the end of
I
last
could,
season. I agree.
I
Yes.
could, because you're dealing potentially with Premier League clubs who don't live in reality. So keep
Yeah.
keep in mind, like Chelsea, right? Great example. How much have they spent in the transfer window? To finish mid-table. So we're not dealing with clubs that live in reality. What we're dealing with clubs that are probably trying to avoid relegation that can outbid us,
Hmm.
like Leeds United for CDK, and fucking Bournemouth for what was the guy's name went to Galatasaray? Zaniolo.
Ah, that guy.
Yeah, so I mean, this is the reality that we're living in. We're living in a very overhyped league that have a lot of money. That as a result of them having a lot of money, are very prone to make very expensive mistakes. So if Tamori can go for 80 million, I'd sell him in the morning.
SMSC will drive him to the airport.
That's it, and take Messias with you because that miss in the Inter game
That's not just a miss.
when
It
you
wasn't
need.
even on target. I mean,
Mm.
you say it based on the ability of the player. Yes, to a certain degree. Yes, that's maybe the Messiah's ability. But what have they actually been doing in training? There's no one practice shooting. This is the problem that I have. But then again, Pioli's got to take some of the responsibility. I mean, he put Messias there on the pitch, knowing that what his abilities are. Is he the only attacking threat? I mean, would CDK?
Yes, no, because think about it, right? CDK, we've seen CDK is in such a space right now where he's just wrecked. He's useless. Diaz wasn't the answer, and Diaz isn't the answer for any of our problems because the thing is he's too like physically, he's not
Well, they
there,
say
and he
vertically
never will
challenged.
be vertically challenged, right? And I know because I'm vertically challenged as well, so it's fine. But the thing is that when like you have certain types of players like Messi, like Baggio, right, that are short and they use that to their advantage, right? Because they weave in and out, right?
Yeah.
Diaz can't do that. You can't do that in today's game. So what you have is you have a potentially like a Baggio like player who in today's game, you know, as soon as the ball comes to you and you can't lay it off to someone, you just throw yourself down, and that's what Diaz is. He's great for Sevilla or for fucking some team, trying to go for the Europa League, hoping that you have a idiot referee that'll give you a penalty in the final. That's what he's good for. But for this club, nah, wrecked.
No, but if you think about it, yeah, Diaz is one of the reasons why we're in the semifinals in the first place. So I know what you're saying, and I most of the time I agree with you. But to me, he has this season only for this season. He has a little bit of credit in the bank. This is the problem.
Does he have what is it, 23 million or 22 millions worth of credit in the bank though? When we can
He
spend
could
that
argue the
on
point. He could say that it's my goal against Spurs that got us
hmm,
into the quarters.
That's a good question.
And then you could also say, yeah, against Napoli, it was my cut through the middle that passed it to Liao, right?
Yeah, fuck it
So
though.
I mean, yeah, again, everyone, a lot of players take responsibility, but the issue that I have is that not every player has credit in the bank because some of them, I think, are at a point that they should actually go.
Yep.
Calabria, Rebic, for me, Krunic. I mean, number one, please go. I mean, you can go tomorrow if you want.
Hey, no, you meant stay. You meant stay. It's fine.
But those players, they're done. Yeah, to me, in my eyes, they're completely done. They could score like 10 goals the next game. I mean, they score against Inter, then maybe I'll have to change my mind.
Mm.
But they could score 10 goals against
Origi with the hat trick to put us through to the final. Yeah.
maybe, yeah, the chance is still there.
Mm.
Because this is the thing about when you have two legs, we only played half the game. You know, that's what they
Mm.
say, right?
Mm.
And this is one of the things that I learned from if you watch the documentary on Manchester City, All of Nothing. Pep Guardiola always tells his team whenever they're leading, you think the other team can't score 3 or 4 goals in a half? We've seen it happen,
Mm.
right?
Mm. True. And I also say, don't forget that you're getting paid by like rich oil money. So if you score today, we'll give you 2 million. Yeah.
All right, so is there anything you want
Anyway,
to say about the Spezia game? Because it's happening in about 2 hours. What are your
uh,
expectations about that game? Because it looks like
eh,
the Belgian contingent, the entire Belgian contingent is starting that game. Ranks, Origi, CDK, Salad, everyone's there. You know, it might as well be like Belgium B or something like that.
every game is must win, and with those on the pitch, we don't. We're not likely to. So I don't know. Because you see, the problem is Pioli's in a hard position now because he's in a position where it's kind of every game is must win. And if I don't rotate the players, I'll be accused that I've ran them into the ground like Tonali. And if I rotate the players, I'm going to call on my depth, which is, you know, fucking Origi, which is Pobega, which is, I don't know, Ballatore, which is, so he can't win basically. Um, look, at every game is must win.
Yeah,
Every game.
I completely agree with you. But okay, let's just spend a few minutes. I know coming up to the hour mark, and yeah, we have our other
Mm.
other streams to work on. Uh,
Dan, I must go for a piss as well because I've been drinking a lot of beer today. Go on.
but what do you think is the stakes of this game? I mean, if we don't win, do you honestly consider it over? I mean, for me, I'm just answer that. I do. How about you? Are we
So
done?
what I can see happening is us finishing fifth, 8 points behind Juventus, and then Juventus getting a nine point penalty, and then we get into the Champions League. That realistically, that's what I see. Um,
So does it matter then what happens this game? Because I know I don't know what the gap between us and Roma.
it's so the thing is I think we're better than Lazio. Pound for
They're
pound, I
ahead of
think
us.
we're
Is
better
the
than Lazio.
problem.
They're ahead
Romagnoli
of
is
us. So
thinking about Champions League.
that's it. That's it. So I don't know, man. I don't know. I just the goal should be qualify or finish above Lazio.
Mhm.
Worry about the rest next. You know
Oh,
that's what
yeah.
the
Just as
should be.
sorry to cut in. Just as a highlight, yeah, Salernitana is holding up against Atlanta as a draw. It's 0-0 for now, and Lazio and Lecce drew. Yeah, I missed that
That's
result.
it. Yeah, yeah. So there'll be other teams do us favors as well, but we also have Juventus coming along, and that's going to be it's going to be a hell of a game as well. So I don't know, man. I don't know. It's really tough. I just like we do have underlying qualities that can get us into the Champions League. Um, it's gonna be fucking tough because literally, the way when commentators say, "Oh, this game is must win," but every
Mm.
fucking game is when you look at a professional sport. But is
Every game from the
literally
first game, yeah.
every game from the first game is literally a must win. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. But yeah, fingers crossed. You know, obviously we'll be here till the end anyway. But Jesus Christ, it, please sell Ravage and Origi. You know,
Yeah, well, it's a good roundup, man. Yeah, I think that really takes us to the closing comments, and yeah, we want to say thanks to everyone for tuning in. Thanks to Paul KV. I know you've been on this channel quite a bit, but do if you have time, Paul, I mean, just drop us a message and do join us.
it's
We'll
it.
be happy to have you on the stream.
Don't
And
be negative like Hosni.
oh, that's never gonna change. I mean, it's my negativity that got us the Scudetto. I'm taking credit
The
for it.
true, true. Go ahead.
So yeah, thanks everyone, and yeah, we look forward to you catching up on this. We are on Twitter, Apple Podcasts. Sorry, I haven't updated a podcast in a long, long while, but yeah, some of our older episodes are there, as well as Instagram, all at Millennials 360. And yeah, you'll be either hearing from myself or Shane. And as always, Forza Milan.
Forza Milan, let's fucking do it, man.
Yeah.
Italia!